Okay, Jimmy, we are live. How are you doing today? It's been a while since we've been talking. We have been a bit lazy, Jimmy.
Yes, indeed. We are good.
Okay, so yes, it's definitely time for us to do some sharing. So, of course, for those who are joining us for the first time, welcome. This is Investing Bro Market Talk episode 18. So, this is where Jimmy and myself will come together to talk about what happened last week and what are the opportunities we can capture in the days ahead. So, of course, the hot topic for the last week is the Ukraine and the Russia crisis. Is quite sad. I've been looking at the news every day. The thought of people dying and war is really, really quite sad, but it is what it is. So from an investment perspective, of course, the market is now depressed for obvious reasons. I'm definitely not here trying to guess when this war is over, when the market will be back up. I think unless you can really read some of the leaders' mind. But I think what we can actually do here today is really talk about, what are some of the sectors we may actually want to pay attention to when this whole event de-escalates. So, of course, when is that? I think it's $1 million question. But I'm quite sure one day, somehow, somewhat it will de-escalate and, things will come back. Okay. And what are some of the sectors that we can actually focus on? So this is the topic for today. So Jimmy, is it okay if I go ahead? Yeah.
Yes, go ahead, please. Yes.
Okay, so with that, I have some slides to share. Okay, so personally, I have been, of course, monitoring the markets. Okay, so as mentioned just now, so this period, because of the conflict, we can see that market, regardless where is it, be it Singapore, be it US, we can see that the market has corrected. I wouldn't say it really crashed, but it has corrected. Is it going to stop? Is it going to bounce back? I think it's $1 million question. Okay, when it's going to bounce back, I think it's $1 million question. Nobody knows. Of course, when the war or when the conflict's over, okay, we definitely expect to bounce back. Okay, so we are not going to have an estimate on that, but what we're actually going to do is this. What are the sectors you may actually want to keep a lookout for, okay, when things are coming back up? So I have, again, as per my background, I'll be focusing on the Singapore side. And of course, I will pass the mic over to Jimmy, whereby he'll talk a little bit more about, outside of Singapore. So I have identified 3 areas to actually look at. The first area is the banks. The banks. Okay, let me just use DBS as a proxy. So, of course, I'm talking about the Singapore 3 big banks in general, but just use this bank as a proxy. You can see that if you look closely, so from the date when the war started, which is about end of February, the bank stock actually dropped drastically. Went all the way down. I don't think it went below 30. Okay, but I believe it went below $32, or in fact, I'm not sure it went below $31. So the bank actually has came down. So I thought this is one sector we may actually want to pay attention to, because before this current Ukraine crisis, they have been talking about inflation. They have been talking about interest rates. And basically, they have spoken interest rate increase is going to be in their favor. Okay, so be it analysts or the CEO itself, they actually mentioned that with an interest rate hike, it's actually going to be in their favor. So like you can see here from Reuters.com, if you want, you can go and search for the article. Singapore banks profit rebound, rate rise, prospect improve outlooks. And this is from the CEO itself. There's an interview. If you want, there's actually a video. You can actually go and Google for the video. DBS Group CEO, okay, discuss what the US Fed interest rate hike might mean for Singapore banks. And if you read the smaller prints, you can see that explain how such hike might be beneficial for the Singapore bank. So basically, of inflation with interest rate hike is actually good for the bank, and given that the bank is adversely affected right now because of the war, I definitely think this is one sector we may want to pay attention to. So that's one. The next sector that again worth our attention is the REITs market. Let's again track back the dates a bit. So what you're seeing now is a chart of the REITs index. So of course it's a good proxy for the general Singapore REITs market. Now, again, if you actually look at when the war started, which is about end Feb, we are looking about this point. And what we are seeing is even after the war started, hey, the prices of the REITs started to, I would say, trending upwards rather than downwards. So you can see that the STI is down, the bank is down, but the REITs market seems to be going up. So what does this means to me? So again, if we look at it from a longer perspective, the REITs has been correcting since, well, I would say since second half of last year. And my sense is overcorrected, oversold. Okay. And even with such a crisis, okay, instead of dropping further, it bounced up. I think the market probably recognized that the REITs now is already at a very low price. Okay. Probably hit close to the bottom already. And that's why it's actually picking up. So in that sense, I think at this kind of price level, my sense is it cannot get too wrong. And of course, after the crisis is over, we do expect the rebound to be stronger. So this is my take, the second sector. So I've talked about the banks, talked about the REITs. And I think the third sector, which everyone talked about it, is commodity sectors. So number one, basically on commodities with inflation. So we have been talking about inflation. With inflation on the rise, so commodity price in general will all go up, not just your gold, not just your food prices. I think some of the material, like for example, iron, steel, copper, whatever, okay, all these commodity prices will go up, okay? And obviously oil, okay, in general because of inflation. I have actually picked up this company, or to be more precise, pick up this commodity like iron and steel. So this company is actually into iron and steel. So I believe that after the crisis, this iron and steel price as a commodity, okay, the prices are likely to go up, given that, you know, when we talk about rebuilding, okay, I'm quite sure after the war, there will be quite a vast rebuilding of Ukraine itself. Okay, so you will need a lot more of these raw materials. I believe it will actually push up, okay, prices like, for example, iron and steel. So I suppose after the crisis, this is again one sector we may have to pay attention to. I think with the prices going up, okay, companies that is involved, I think they will be beneficial as well. So these are the three sectors I have identified. And I believe they will have a strong outward trend, okay, when the crisis is over. Of course, again, when's the best time to go in? That one is $1 million question I can't answer. But yeah, I think you should pay attention to this sector. So Jimmy, any comments? And of course, please, outside of Singapore, what are your comments, please? Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Emin. So in general, I agree with what you have just mentioned. Outside of Singapore, in the US market, obviously right now the market is affected by two major things. One is the interest rate hike, and the other one is the ongoing war. Now, the thing is that if after the war, what will happen is that right now what we are seeing is that there's basically a sharp rise in energy price. And this indirectly has affected a lot of energy-dependent companies. Those are mainly airlines, manufacturing that highly depend on the oil itself. So after the war, we don't know when, but if the war would have ended, then all these oil pressure, I believe, is going to be relieved. And all these companies, which is now beaten down, will sort of like, you know, their earnings will show a little bit stronger on the 2 quarters earning forward. So these are the companies that I will, you know, which is basically oil dependent company, is the one that I will be putting them in my watch list. The other sector will be the tech sector. Tech sector has actually been beaten down very, very badly because of you know, the interest rate hike and the war itself. QQQ, which is which is the Nasdaq, has been beaten down all the way 20% below all-time high as of, I think, Thursday. It sort of rebound a bit just above the 13,000 line. And of course, once we beat below 20% from all-time high, technically speaking, the market is supposed to be bearish. But as you can see that Nasdaq is trying to struggle, to go above the water. This shows that there's a lot of confidence in the market. The bear and the bull is sort of like just playing the, the tug of war kind of situations. So once the war is over and when people and investor has a sort of like a clear visibility, pretty sure that Nasdaq is going to be rebound from this point onward. So all the tech stocks will sort of like go up, in general towards the north. So that's basically my take on that. And of course, on top of it, they, cryptos and all this related stuff will going north as well in a positive directions. That's my personal take. Yeah.
Oh, Jimmy, you mentioned something interesting, crypto. Now, I'm actually saw this article. I don't know whether you agree. So, of course, given that now with sanctions and with the war going on, okay, the banks in Ukraine are not functioning as well. So I actually read this article that, hey, now if you want to donate to Ukraine, we can actually do it through Ethereum. And what I understand is some of the Russian companies, of course, they are being sanctioned, and they are actually using Bitcoin to do the transaction. So it seems that the demand or the actual application for crypto is going to get more. So do you agree with this? And of course, do you think that, hey, it's time to pay attention to this crypto as well?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, for years and years, people have been debating, what is the purpose of cryptocurrency, especially, Bitcoins and Ethereum. People say that it's a virtual currency, it's a Ponzi. Now, with this war, which is, of course, unintended, cryptocurrency, particular Bitcoins and Ethereum has proved its usefulness in this crisis itself. And it is also known as a crisis currency. So what happened is that with the sanctions and Russia being kicked out of the SWIFT systems, meaning to say that a lot of transactions that was between, or rather among Russia with the rest of the world, all this has been cut off. So which means that even Russians who travel overseas currently using their credit cards, they will no longer be able to use their credit card to make payments. They have to use cash. So this is going from a very micro level. And from a bigger side of things is that the whole entire country trade is being sort of like hot. They're being cut off to the rest of the world. And cryptocurrency has sort of like, or rather Bitcoins have found its way into the usefulness during this crisis. And obviously, the Russians, they are trying to convert their assets into Bitcoins and to be able to, wire out the country or to buy whatever resources they need for their own. So yeah, it finds its own usefulness into this. And I'm glad that this finally, it has its real applications when people are still debating that, Bitcoin is still a Ponzi scheme.
Thank you so much, Jimmy. And again, unfortunately, just out in today's papers, they say, yes, now Bitcoin, all this is definitely an investment instrument that we should pay attention to. Unfortunately, there's so many investment scams out there revolving around crypto. And based on the article, they say that education is one of the best way to prevent ourselves getting into this scam. I heard you have something up for retail investors regarding crypto. Can you just share a little bit more, please?
Yes. Okay. So cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, be it Bitcoin, Ethereum, or any other coins that you all may come across, a lot of those has its applications and its purpose. And obviously, in the internet world, there are a lot of cryptocurrency that promise you with high returns, high gain, that sort of things, or even high rewards in the region of few hundred, some even few thousand %. And of course, in the media, people talk about people getting very, very rich through cryptos. Now, is that true? Some of it is true, but most of it, unfortunately, I have to agree with what is being written in Straits Times today. Most of it is scam, and the best way to do it is basically through proper educations and understanding what all this is important thing. I have actually put up a crypto program together, and to teach people how, or rather to educate people how you can actually look into cryptocurrency and to be able to identify if those cryptos or those projects is genuine or fake, or would that be a rug pull, because of that as well. So I'm going to have a first preview in this coming, in fact, next week. No, sorry, this coming Thursday, yes. And let me just pull it out for you.
You may want to share your screen. Okay, great.
Yes, this is the one. Yes, I'm going to have a preview this coming Thursday, 17th of March, Thursday, time 8 to 9:30 p.m. And please register yourself with this preview by scanning the QR code, register in it, and we will send you the Zoom link, and so that you can attend this preview as well. So with this preview, I'm going to talk about, what are the systems, what are the steps that you can actually help you to identify the good coins and the fake one. And more importantly is that how you can actually use crypto to increase, your wealth in a faster space. And that's basically what we are going to talk about this coming Thursday.
Okay, thank you so much, Jimmy. So once again, for those who are interested, you can scan the QR code right now. And this is Investing Bro Market Talk episode 18. Okay, if you like what we have been sharing, do us this little favor. Click on the subscribe button, click on the like button so that we are motivated to do more of such videos, and of course, more people can benefit. So with that, hopefully the Ukraine and Russia crisis will end soon. I think it really pains every one of us to see what happening. Hopefully they'll end soon. And please take care of yourself. Okay, bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Yeah.